Important tips and resources for buying your home.
And this is because I just told you I was in high tech. People love flowchart. So I thought I'll create it in such a way, since most of our clients are people like you who work in high tech and who are on either temporary visas or who are trying to get their visas, who have different loan scenarios and whatnot. So that's the reason why I created this in the form of a sort of a flowchart so people can correlate to it better. Okay. So at a high level, the entire process, and feel free to interrupt me in the middle, Naresh, okay? Whenever you come up with any questions. So the entire process at a high level, you can divide it into 3 different phases, okay? Where you see phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. All right. Most of the involvement from the buyer side, that is mostly either in phase 1 or towards phase 3, and I'll help explain what I mean by that interaction. Okay. So the first phase is mostly about preparing the buyer to get into a home. When I say preparing the buyer, it depends on first, number 1, figuring out what are your needs and wants. All right. So needs and wants, the way to look at needs and wants is, so practically every buyer wants everything in a home, which is theoretically not possible. Home buying is a zero-sum game at the end of the day, right? The more requirements you put into your home buying, the more dollar amount you'll have to cough up. So, and budget is limited for everybody practically. So once you have figured out your budget, once you know that, hey, I'm going to spend $5,000 per month in my mortgage every month, let's say that is your budget, okay? That will define how much of your buying power is, and that buying power will define what sort of needs and what sort of wants or what sort of requirements you can carry into your home buying process. At a high level, the way to figure out a difference between needs and wants, needs are really things without which you cannot live, or without which are basically the items which are deal breakers. For example, if you need a 3-bedroom home, you are not even going to be willing to take a look at a home which is 2-bedroom, right? That is a need. Need means simple, pure deal breakers. All right. Wants means things which you like to have in the home. If you get them, you get them. If you don't get them, it doesn't matter much. So having an absolute clarity on your needs and wants is of utmost importance in a home buying process. All right. Since you come from technology background, let me sort of give you an analogy, right? In our technology background, we always talk about P0 requirements and P1 requirements, Naresh. Is that correct? Are you aware of, you are very well aware of those terms, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about, okay? So P0 requirements are the requirements which get fixed before we ship out a product. P1 requirements probably either never get fixed, or the customer finds those problems and then we fix them, right? That's practically how software industry runs, or high-tech industry runs on. So it's the same concept here. P0 requirements are the requirements which absolutely needs to be fixed, or the requirements which absolutely you need to have in a home. Wants are good to have, nice to have. If you get them, it's a bonus. If you don't get them, no big deal. All right. So that part needs to be very, very clear. Most of the times buyers fall into this trap of finding a perfect home. All right. One thing to keep in mind, there are no perfect homes. Nobody have built a home thinking that one day Naresh will buy a home, so I'm going to create a home based on his requirements. So there are no perfect homes. All right. The way most of the buyers think is, once they have really defined their needs and wants, what most of the buyers do and what we recommend to most of the buyers is, the moment you start seeing a home matching 70 to 80% of those needs, that's the home to start writing an offer around. That's the home you should try to get yourself in. Sort of an 80-20 rule, Peralta rule, right? So 80%, if your 80% of your requirements gets fixed, or if your 80% of your needs get matched, that's the home, that's a perfect home for you. There is no home which is a perfect home. All right. Wants, if you get them, bonus. If you don't get them, those should not be the deal breaker.
Join our weekly webinar. Call us now at 408 763 8131 or scan the QR code.